start your morning, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. And our top story this morning, Browns reeling after a tough loss to the Steelers last week. Yesterday, a very stoic Baker Mayfield was asked about all the criticism his team is hearing in Cleveland. Take a listen.
I don't give a damn what they say. It's within this building. We know we can be better. I know I can be better, and that's how it's going to be handled. The outside noise doesn't matter. They get paid to talk. We get paid to do our work. So that's how it's going to be handled.
Nick, what do you think about this Browns team? You think they're criticized too much or too little?
Well, the fact that we're talking about this is the answer to the question. The answer is revealed in the question. It's too much. They're 4-2. This isn't... Anybody picking the Browns to go to the Super Bowl before the year? I didn't see it. Show me the... I follow all the prognostications. I didn't see it. Were any Browns players saying we're going to be a 13-3 team? This division is ours? I didn't hear that. But show me if I missed the clips. They did what folks were demanding they do last year. They were quiet. They went about their business. And through 6 games of the season, there are only 7 teams in the league better than them. But they have a polarizing quarterback who some folks, my guy Colin Cowherd's one of them, who you guys know how much I adore Colin. Colin hadn't liked Baker since Oklahoma and will always pick at it. And he's a polarizing guy ever since he planted the flag when he was in college. And the way he conducts himself. So we are going to find ways to, when they play well, when they beat up the Colts, who everyone loved going into that game. How often is it discussed? Never. But when they get crushed by a great team in Pittsburgh, and then Baker says, I'm not listening to the noise, we say, well, he says he's not listening to the noise. But I brought in a body language expert here who tells me the way his eyes rolled, he actually is listening to the noise. Like we're a bad political show. And Odell, which I know we'll get to, will always be polarizing. He's brought some of that onto himself. Odell, who has been a perfect citizen this year, is finally telling America, you know what, I'm done trying to change who I am. I am who I am. So, of course, they're criticized too much. There's 4 teams in the AFC with a better record than them. 7 in the whole league with a better record than them. They are not underachieving. But because folks don't like some of the people on their team, we're going to find ways to tear them down.
Yeah, but the issue, Nick, is that when you're on a losing team and you're in a losing organization, then you're criticized too little. They haven't had a winning season since 2007. We just talked about how long it took for them to start a season 4-1. So I don't care if it's the Cleveland Browns, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Jets. Like, if you're not a good team, then this comes with the business. This comes with it. This is a part of being a pro.
But they're good this year.
This is why his words... it's not about like, okay, I got to answer this question. It's how he's answering it. Like he has a chip on his shoulder. It comes with the business. You get to a point as an athlete where you know the tough questions are going to come, so you do it in a way where it's like, you know what? It is what it is. We didn't play great last week. We started off really good. We'll get back there. All you got to do is follow the example of some of the vets around the league. That's what I did when I got in the league. I didn't know how to talk in front of the media. I just watched every single time Peyton Manning was in front of the cameras. I watched Peyton Manning, and I said, I'm going to do exactly what he does. And all he has to do is watch Cam Newton. Look around the league. Cam Newton just played the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos without a quarterback, and they lost. And what did he say? I know everybody think the sky is going to fall down, but you know what? I'm gonna come to work again, like all the other guys, and we'll get this thing corrected.
Brandon, here's the problem. Here's the problem. If Baker said, I know everyone thinks the sky is falling, I'm going to get an umbrella. You know what the question is? Why is Baker Mayfield listening to the outside noise? We can always phrase it. Why does he know everyone thinks the sky is falling? Why is he feeding into it? Why is Baker... We can always do this. And by the way, and Cam, by the way...
But here's the thing, you just talked about...
It took him a decade to refine this.
Correct. But you just went back to his time in Oklahoma. He's been a high-profile guy. So, I don't care what they think. Only thing that matters what we're doing inside. Well, you better care because those days are over where they're letting quarterbacks develop over 5, 6, 7 years. If you don't get it within 3 years, they're drafting someone else because that is an issue. We know that the way this team is set up is not to, we drafted our guy and this quarterback is going to lead the way. No, they're saying, let's run the ball. Let's only throw it 15, 20 times a game. This is not modern football. You got to be able to go for 300 and something yards week in and week out, and he's not that guy. So that's why they're not even set up for success long term.
Well, Baker wasn't the only guy criticized yesterday. Odell also chiming in on the critics as well. He was seen on the sideline. Remember, his shoes were off. He was yelling at fans. He threw his helmet down after he got pulled. Take a listen to what he had to say about it.
I'm pissed, and at this point, I really don't care to keep trying to make myself look like a good guy into the world and all that, because I am who I am. I got pulled out of the game. The coach said this was the best decision. You know, it's 8 minutes left, and for me, I'd rather take my ass whooping like a man. I'd rather take my win the same way. I want to be out there to the last whistle competing. I'm kind of over, trying to play the right thing because, I love them to death, but there's people who have plenty of rings and consider the GOAT, and they do things on the sideline, and other people do things on the sideline, and they get away with it, and it's classified as passion because they may have something behind their legacy or whatever it is. And to me, bro, we love it so much. It means that much.
All right, Brandon, what was your reaction to what Odell had to say?
Woof. There's a lot here. I mean, we can spend an entire show breaking down Odell, wide receivers. 100% there's a double standard. He's talking about Tom Brady. Yes, but here's the challenge when you're an emotional player and you're an emotional person, right? We see Tom Brady do this, but it doesn't mess with his production. And there's an argument that there's like Odell, when his emotions get the best of him, he doesn't play well. When his emotions get the best of him, it may disrupt guys on the sideline. And I'm saying that from experience. So when you look at Tom Brady, when he does that, guys get better. When Odell does that, sometimes guys get better, sometimes they don't. And I just think that when you're an emotional player and that's what's gotten you to this point, it's a very difficult thing to do, is like to manage it. When do I turn it on? When do I turn it off? And I think Odell has gotten better over the years, and it's just a big struggle for guys like that. You got to think about it. The things that make him who he is the emotion. It's unmatched. The passion, the drive, that dog mentality. But then there's times where it can just cross the line and it can affect people in the building. So I think Odell has done a tremendous job since he's left the New York Giants, and even there, he was getting better. But there's still some work to be done.
Do you think this is all just a PR problem, Nick? That the Browns just have a bad PR strategy? That Baker says things, you're like, well, that's not the right PR move. And then Odell took his shoes off, and I said earlier this week, I was like, well, that's an interesting story. That's going to be a thing. And then, Brandon, in the meeting, you're like, no, man, those cleats are super uncomfortable.
Take your shoes off.
Like, you take your shoes off. I would take them off, too. And it just wasn't a story because maybe there wasn't a camera on my feet.
Hold on.
But, like,
so
there is
Jenna, what else did he do? Jenna, what else did he do?
So listen, I know what you're going to say. It doesn't matter what he does. You're going to say all players do it. But it's a combination of slamming the thing down, taking the shoes off, yelling at someone in the crowd. Like, if it was just the shoes, I get it. But it was a moment. And right or wrong, it was a moment from him. And people are going to criticize him. He is a polarizing figure. And now, listen, I loved what he said.
But that
you want to be in there till the end, so you can act great.
No, and this is where...
No, it's not.
And this is
no, it's
where
not. That's your job. That's your job, Nick. No, that's your job. That's the thing that we're missing. It's not just about football. When you make it to the NFL, you don't just develop as a football player. You got to develop as a person. You develop as a husband. You develop as a father. You develop in how you speak.
Brandon.
Because here's the deal. Odell knows this. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. This is what we got to get it as athletes. You know who you are. You know you're an emotional player. Look how I'm talking now. I know I'm emotional. So you know what I knew is that when we were losing the game, if Jay Cutler threw a pick, that there was going to be 6. I knew exactly how many cameras would be on my face. Any change of momentum in a game, there was going to be 6 cameras on my face. So what do? Because you know you're highly scrutinized, you sit there. You don't give them anything. And that's what the greats do. You got to develop in that area. So, yes, it's Odell. Is it unfair? Sometimes, yes. But at the end of the day, you got to continue to develop. Tom Brady, yes, he's emotional, but he continues to develop.
Brandon, all right, I got it now. I got it. And I've never, you're arguing against a point I didn't make, okay? Odell has developed. He has improved. He's not fixed. It's not 100% better, but as you said, he's growing, he's improving, he's learning, and we just pick guys that we are going to eviscerate. Was Odell Beckham Jr. the only player this week?
But here's my thing. Why are we arguing about it? Because it's the job.
Of course not.
It's the job. No. What you're saying is like, don't defend it because it's the job. That's your job as a pro.
Last year, we were told for the Browns, just win games. And this year, they are winning games. So we're talking about shoes and Baker Mayfield's body language.
I wish we had another segment.
Because they're a fun team to dissect. That's it. We're never going to be fair with these guys.
They're polarizing players on a polarizing team. Much more to discuss. Undisputed coming up next. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.